Welcome back to another video of Dreams. They show some new gameplay at the developer session at EGX, and this was actually, everything here is basically new, which is pretty dope. They just had the stream, so I don't think it's gonna be up in Media Molecule's channel maybe for like at least another couple of days. So I went ahead and uploaded it, but if you guys want to watch it there as well, I will have it linked when it's available there. I just want to have like an all-in-one place for like Dreams content, so I went ahead and uploaded it here. I do want to talk about it, but I have to go like right now. So that's why I'm trying to like render this as fast as possible, because I had to leave in like 10 minutes. So I want to render this as fast as possible, upload it so you guys can watch, who maybe want to watch it, and let me know you guys' thoughts. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Well, you're going to have an even better time now because we've got an incredibly exciting session on Dreams. So please welcome to the stage Peter Field from Media Molecule.
Hi everyone, welcome, thank you for coming down. Okay, cool, so this is Dreams, and today we are going to be making a level in this stage here. And previously on a stream earlier today, we made a race level using this level with a character called Debug, and we raced around the stage like this. So to sort of show how you can diverge from a similar starting point and make something completely different, I'm going to just start deleting huge areas of this stage, and we're going to make a completely different level with different gameplay types and using different characters. And to sort of prevent us from using the same geometry as well and the same level, I'm going to start here and I'm going to build off to the right, and I'm going to hopefully sort of create something completely different. So I'm just going to start by, it's quite dark over there, so I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. I'm going to up the sky brightness so I can see what we're doing. And then I'm going to pull out some trusty disco lights so we can see a bit more of what's going on. So now I'm going to search for my collection here, the EGX collection. And and when I place these down, you'll notice that they're going exactly where I want them to go, because these particular assets have got guides on them. So they're made so that players can just plug and play and attach and stick assets in their levels without worrying too much about where they're going. And so if I hit play, they're going to just make like a nice disco floor. And I actually think there's a nice fill light there, and I can grab that and duplicate it, and that just sort of fills the scene with a little bit more light so I can see what's going on. Okay, cool. And you can scale it up to make the light have a bigger range. Okay, cool. and now I need a character. So I'm going to dive into this collection up here, and we're not going to use Debug. We might show a little bit of Debug to show how she interacts with some of the gameplay elements. But I'm going to start with LED, which is a character that some of you may have seen before. But she sort of has these little roller skates, and she has a trunk so she can suck up elements and blow them about. And she can use her ears to sort of flap and hover down to make platforming a little bit easier. She can skate backwards, and she can do little flips. So this is our character, and she's got very different gameplay attributes to Debug. So whereas we sort of use certain things that worked well with Debug, we're going to use completely different elements with LED. And I'm going to start by just sort of bounding off the area. I think when you make a level, you start with a character, and then you need an objective. So I'm going to stick down an objective somewhere. And this is, I think I skipped over its name, actually. Let's go and find out what its name was. The level exit. OK, cool. So if you stick a level exit in your level, and you start the level, you get a little cutscene introducing, like, highlighting your objective, and then you go back to the player. So I've not done any logic yet, and we've got a game. It's a very easy game. I'm going to complete it right now. There we go. So Oh. I have to start again now. Okay, so I just exited the level without saving it. Turn the brightness up and duplicate this light. And then I placed down some disco lights. Luckily, I hadn't made too much stuff, so this will be like seconds of recreating exactly what we had. And a couple of yellow ones. If I'd started building the geometry or the art pass, I'd be a little bit gutted that I'd done that. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to tunnel into this, and I'm going to take this TV out, and I'm going to use this to create a sort of barrier around the stadium. And this is going to be our level wall. So I'll place it there. If I put this upright guide on, it's going to make it really easy to just sort of drag all the way over here and rotate it a bit. And then use the clone tool. And that's going to make a sort of arena that I can play in. And I'll get rid of some of this stuff around the edges so it doesn't get in the way. And then I'm going to take this stage area, because I quite like this. I think it looks quite impressive and attractive. And I'm going to take it all the way over to the other side, and that's going to be my goal. So that's going to help me signpost to players where they need to go. So I'll rotate it a little bit and place it down. I might scale it up a little bit as well. And this is going to be where we're going to have to try and get to with LED. So if I raise it off the ground like that, then LED can't just walk up to it like we did before. And I'll stick our exits on top of that platform. Okay, here we go. And then I need to make this barrier, move all the way around here. And I'll just block it off like this. Okay, cool. And then, so the other things in this starter pack are just really simple platforms that are like set up to be the right sizes for jumps. So we can stick down a few of these, and you'll notice that we can make like a really simple platforming level. So here we go. And then I can make a jump here, and a slightly bigger jump here that the player will have to hop over. Okay, and then we're nearly at the end. We're going to need another one of these lights. Angle that correctly, scale it up. And that's our level. So the next thing to do is to take out some of these boring jumps, or jumps, as they're also called, and put in some gameplay elements. So this is one of my favorite collections because it's just a toy box. You've got loads and loads of elements in here. And I'll demonstrate a couple of these interesting elements. We've shown the bouncing flower, so we can put down a bouncing flower. And there's another variation on this, which is the Venus flytrap. So I'll place that down. To get across that gap. And then another element that we have is this object, which disappears when you stand on it. So if I place some of these here, and I use the guide tool, it should be really easy to sort of line up together. Okay, cool. There you go, they're lined up nicely. And these are just plug and play. You just stick them down. Oh, this is the bit that I'm... What's that? I think that happened because I placed it down whilst time was running. Let's see. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, cool. I did it, eventually. And as I said before, we've used guides here. So if you wanted to make something different, you could turn guides off. And then you could place this in the ground, and it could be a bounce flower. So that's kind of cool. And also you might notice that these elements have all got like a little green input. And that is so you can combine these elements together without necessarily knowing a lot about the logic system. So even if you're a brand new beginner and you want to make your own debug level, you can stick these down, and you'll notice that these have an output. And if you plug the output into the input, they'll disappear. So now I have to charge that pad to turn on these gameplay elements. So in this way, we can start to make a really, really simple level that, that has logic in it, but we haven't necessarily learned how to use the logic. And if I plug it into this other charge pad, you'll see the meridian line on the outside disappears. And these platforms will disappear. And so on and so forth. So because just to demonstrate how that would work, we'll need the debug again. And you can see how charging those pads allows you to make gameplay without necessarily learning the logic system. But in the same way, because we do want players to learn the logic system, you can tunnel into something like this and open up the logic that is used inside here. And you can see how it's laid out and start to sort of reverse engineer the logic that we've given you for free. And that is an important part of how players will learn the toolset, I think. So you don't have to if you don't want to use it, but it's there for you to sort of learn from if you want. But we're not focusing this level on debug, so I'm going to get rid of these elements that require debug. And I'm going to get rid of debug as well. And now we're going to focus on a mechanic that LED uses. And LED, using her trunk, can suck up balls from these little power orbs. So we need to think of a gameplay function for these power orbs that is critical to us finishing the level. So you can pick it up and spit it out. Cool, OK. So what can interact with that? So at the moment, we've got a blast wall, so I could block the player's path using this blast wall. So for me to progress, I'm going to need to go and find this orb. And smash through that wall. But that's something that debug can also do. So I'm thinking what we might do is we might show some new gameplay types. So in the same way, in the previous stream, we made a race, but the race involved lots of these like platforming elements that we stamped down. So it shows that you don't have to strictly stick to like a race level or a platforming level. You can mix and match all of these assets together. So here I'm going to put down a goal, and I'm going to also put down a tiny goal, and we'll see how this goes. And now I have to go and find, where's my football? I've lost it. I'm going to rewind the level. And now I can score goals. This one's a little bit harder. I'm very bad at this. Oh, come on, Peter. You get 3 points for that, because as you can tell, it's really tricky. I'm going to try it once more. And so now all we need to do is come up with a way where we need to score a certain amount of goals to progress. So this is where I'm going to sort of go into one of these assets, because I'm curious about how it works, and I'm going to have a look inside, and in this bit here, we have a gadget called orange score, and that is going to transmit a signal, which is my score, and this is a receiver that's called orange score. So I'm going to nick that, and I'm going to place it over here, and this is going to output my score, and then I can take one more gadget, which is a calculator, and I'm going to plug my score into this calculator, and I'm going to say, when my score is equal to 5, and then I can, again, I can take this wire, and I can plug it into these elements over here, and they'll disappear, because at the moment I haven't got 5 points. So I can't progress. And if I score 5 points, I can progress. So this is sort of just trying to demonstrate how you can take completely disparate gameplay elements from different genres and mash them together, because you are the creator and you can make whatever you want. And we're going to try and make all of our assets. Today we're demonstrating some of the assets from what we're calling the actions levels from our content that we're making. But there will be assets from other types of genres, and you should be able to mix and match them. First time. So this is still a little bit easy, because there's nothing stopping me score goals. Like, cool. And that noise indicated that these have appeared, and we have enough points. So the logic is working, but I think it's still a little bit too easy. So I'm going to try and make some obstacles that will stop me from scoring goals. So here I'm going to take one of these TV screens, and I'm going to get an action recorder. And actually, I want it to be neat, so I'm going to grab this guy. And I'm going to make this animation ping pong, which means it will go forwards and then reverse its animation back to the start. That's a neat way of always making sure your animations loop and line up together. And I'm going to take this guy and flip him over. So I'll sort of make these shutter doors. They go too far, so I can adjust that by sort of adjusting the amplification. Oh, perfect. OK, so I'm happy with that. And they're really slow, so I'm going to max out their speed. And now I have to try and shoot through those goalies there. So let's try that. Cool. A little bit more challenging. I have to think about it a little bit more. That's a nice little motif. And over here, with this basketball one, I like this trapdoor spider. So that sort of pops up when you're close and will attack you. And so as I sort of approach this goal, it's going to jump out and get me. And you can see it's got a little hole that it jumps out of, but it's intersecting with the ground at the moment. But because nothing in Dreams is baked in, we can just tunnel into that floor piece and take a little hexagon and cut a hole for our spider. There you go. And I'll just cut a hole in this little floor piece as well, because we're on 2 overlapping floor pieces. Oh, I missed. Let's neaten that up. There you go. And our spider has a nice little hole now. And he's going to wait. He's going to be in waiting there. I'm scared. Here he comes. Cool, so we have some obstacles now as well. So we need to think of some other things that could indicate to the player what has happened. So they might not notice that they have achieved their score and that the path has opened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some things that will let the player know that this has happened. So we can make some fireworks that sort of go off using the stroke tool. So before we made, I'll show you how I made them before. If you make one stroke and you back out of it, you can tweak it and you can give it lots and lots of different properties. So I always give it glow, partly because it makes it easier to see what you're working with right from the get-go. And you can change your color. Let's choose a green one. And you can give it some animation speed. So if I hit play now, you can see that it's flowing. And if I make it pulse, you can see how fast it's moving. You can make it move really fast. I always make it fade out, because that seems to be what a firework would do at the end. There we go. It's fading in and it's fading out. You can change its fleck density to make it more like a dashed line. I think we want it full. And then we can make it explode out in all directions, or we can make it explode up like that. So it's more of a sort of Roman candle style thing now. And we'll increase the copies. And we need some variation because it looks a little bit too neat. So we'll give it some scatter. OK, cool. And I'm going to scale that down, because once you add the scale jitter, it does sort of increase its size. And I think green doesn't really go with us. Let's go yellow. What else do we need? I think that's OK. I'm going to put these next to the goal. Maybe one there and one here. And I could even hook those up to occur every time you score a goal. If I take the output from the goal and put it in here, and set it to 2 seconds to count down, so I want something to happen for 2 seconds. Now, if I score a goal, we can just quickly test that. Don't think it happened. Let's debug why. Ah, OK. So that happened on 2 seconds for a split second, and we want it to happen for 2 seconds. Cool, that's much better. And I think we want that to happen when we reach our target of 5 goals. So I can plug that in here. And we can also, should we get everyone to shout, like cheer, like it's a football match, and we can shout goal. So if we grab this thing, this is the sound recorder. OK, everyone on the count of 3, do you want to like cheer and clap? OK, 1, 2, 3, whoa! And then, I shouldn't have done that, should I? I shouted woo, and I'm like right here, and you guys are much further away, so now I can just hear my own voice. And we can trigger that as well. We can make sure that that's a one-shot. And we can clip off the start bit so that we don't get any. And if you're ever sort of making noises like this and you feel embarrassed, you know, do the old thing, add some delay, add some reverb, makes it sound like someone else is saying it, and it's a lot easier to handle. And we can take that down here and stick this on this as well. Okay, so we've got like a nice little collection of celebratory bits of logic that are going to occur. And the funny thing about this, is the sound tool is so flexible. So if I just stick this down and sing a note, you can make it into an instrument. So you could go, woo. Okay. If I tweak that, at the bottom you see sound effect and instrument. And you can make it into an instrument. And now all of my buttons that doesn't sound like what I recorded. Let's try that again. Woo. Ah, that's why. Okay, so if I clip off the first bit and make it into an instrument, I open it up. Yeah, so you could do that. I don't know why you would ever want to do that, but I thought it was worth demonstrating to everyone that it is a possibility in this tool. And yeah, I think people will really use the recording tool to maybe record VO for adventure games that they make, or maybe they just want to sort of sit and play the guitar and record the guitar into that. That microphone is there for everyone to use in whichever way they want. So what is next? I think we can demonstrate, whilst we're on sound, we can open up a timeline and we can quickly make some music, because that is, I'm not going to put a timeline on a timeline. That would not make sense. Okay, so search for music clips. And so when you're searching for music clips, it's really nice because you can just hover over the things that you like. And you get a feel for what they might sound like. So I don't think that would work. I really love this drum beat. I keep going back to this. But if you're not feeling musical in the slightest, it really doesn't matter, because you can just grab any of these pieces. Do these two go together? I don't know, but it sounds fun to me. I really like the pulse. I think it's because I'm on a big stage and you can feel it in your feet. Okay, so we need some more melodic things. Cool, so this is really simple. I'm not a musician in the slightest, I'm just playing around with these tools. And I think I'm going to find an instrument that goes with all this stuff, and then we can play some music. And these are really great to play with. These are like little toys in themselves. Oh, I know. You can edit things live, so here I've realized that it's not looping, so I've just quickly set it to looping. So that was me just sort of like playing around. I think I'm in the wrong key. And then once you've made the music, it sort of creates this long stream of music. So that's the strokes that you made whilst you were playing through in time. So when they hit the wall there, they're going to play in the present. It's really trippy. I really love that view. I got rid of that because I don't think it added to the music. Okay, so we've got our music playing, and what else can we do? Let's just try playing the level. Ah! Little game of cat and mouse with this spider now. There we go. I'm gonna cheat. I reckon I can run through there better than I can shoot through there. Cool. And now our pathway has been opened up and we can complete the level. Woo! There we go. How much time have we got left? Let's have a look. 3 minutes. Okay, cool. Well, I think that is everything from us then. And now, yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.